Well, I was just doing a Tolkien unboxing video, and of course whenever you do anything in this house, I'm sure it's the same where you are, the video would have gone out, it's nice and quiet, I've got a day off, I can do some shooting. Then of course things happen. A picture fell off the wall, not in the hideout, downstairs, and I can see why. The way it was affixed didn't really work, so we'll have to address that. Then the postman came and he sort of brought a parcel, but as you can see here, what I've got is the Artifical Kid by Bruce Sterling. This is the Penguin UK first. Look at that, gosh, that spine sees some action. And I bought this when it first came out and read it when it first appeared, £2.50. Let's have a look. And this is Bruce's second novel. And yeah, he signed it for me there. Look at that. Absolutely. That was when I met him about 93, 94. And let's see, published by Harper and Row 1980, in Penguin 1985. So 1985, I was either just about to move to Bath from Cardiff, or I had just moved, because I'm not sure what month this came out. And I read this as soon as I bought it, because I was a massive fan of Bruce's novel Involution Ocean, which I would describe as the punk Dune, and it is in my book 100 must-read science fiction novels. It was discovered by Harlan Ellison. It's got a great introduction by Harlan. So this was his second novel, and I've not read it for years, but I remember reading this thinking, wow, you know, this is pretty modern. And so he wrote this in 79, and this really is one of the very first Cyberpunk books. And the Artificial Kid is like a media figure, and he broadcasts live, and you know, you're thinking, wow, this is really quite sort of something. And it was a great book, and I've always wanted the USA Harper first edition, so that's what I've got to unwrap here. And of course I've just dropped the scissors, so bear with me. It's sort of Clutch City today, obviously, it really is, but I've had a bit of a rough time recently, and thanks to all of you for your support. It's been really quite full on with work and life and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to have a look. Now, I got this on eBay off a seller who was very communicative, because, you know, it's good to ask questions. And the reason I've never got around to buying one of these is that virtually none of them ever come to the UK. And this one was in a library in the States. And you know, you never know what you're going to get on eBay. So I asked some questions, and it's very cheap. It was only about 12 quid, all best offer. So we did some sort of horse trading on that, because to get them from the States, they go up to about $100, and of course it's the postage, which is insane. So he did say it's got a bit of a leaning spine, but I thought, well, I really want this book. I'm probably never going to be able to get a decent one. So we'll have a look, and yeah, it does have a lean. So shame, but you know, he did say that, and I really hate leaning spines, but with, you know, a few rubber bands and a bit of TLC, I might be able to cure that. So there it is. We're going to have a look at that now. So I'm going to kind of liberate that from its existing library jacket, and yeah, it's just got, you know, the usual markings, as they say. Look at that, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and of course Wisconsin is well known. This is a terrible thing to say. It was well known for serial killers, you know. Ed Gein, who inspired Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Deranged, all those wonderful things, you know. And also not Ted Bundy, what's his name? There's the Netflix series recently, Jeffrey Dahmer is from Wisconsin as well. So what is it about Wisconsin? So there we are. So it's got those bits and pieces in it. I don't mind that, I can cope with that. Let's give it a go with the old toothbrush in the Jules Burt manner. Funny, Jules and I both arrived at this independently. We never talked about it. So when I first saw his channel, because we were mates years ago and we used to work together, and I hadn't seen him for a while, and I came across his channel because we lost touch, and I thought, wow, you know, he's doing the same thing as I do. So I'm just going to try and cut all that off now. So yeah, so this was an important early one in Bruce's oeuvre, and as I say, for me, one of the key cyberpunk books. Now this is glued in all sorts of places, so it's going to be quite a job, so bear with me, because the real sort of art of this is doing without damaging the jacket. So we have to take a chance somewhere, and we're going to take a chance down there. So, you know, as I say, I would have preferred a pristine one, because you know me, I'm very much a conditioned guy, but this has been bugging me for a while, you know, and if I'm ever loaded and I can find one without to pay £1 million in postage, we'll go there. Right, so we're getting the jacket off the book itself, and I can see I'm going to have to do quite a sort of restoration job there. Now, yeah, we're getting some tearing, and I know I'm doing this quickly. I'm not too bothered about that. My main thing really is how the book looks on the shelf, exterior wise, and yeah, so nice quarter cloth there. It is in a bit of a state though, it has to be said, but you know, you've got to be fair. The guy was honest. He did say that, you know, it was leaning, and you know, the pictures did show library stuff and that, so I've got to try and get some of this stuff off. So I will sort of leave that possibly for another time, and I'll turn my attention to the jacket, which is probably where we can do the best cosmetic work. Now, the jacket does have a really bad tear down there, so let's flip this Bodart type covering off, because I will replace that with my own, and it's quite shiny underneath. It's a real shame about that, but it is what it is. There's only so much you can do, so you know, but let's just get rid of it. That's the thing with library books. As a collection filler, it'll do. As I say, I'll have to do some work on that. I probably can't get that off. If I spend a lot of time in it, I probably will. So that's the Artifical Kid. I do like the jacket though. So, and as I say, really, it's sort of because it's a important early cyberpunk book, and it's one for me. This is sort of an example of me slumming it, really. I tend, as you know, to only buy sort of pristine stuff. There's a bit of a fold there to the wrap, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's a great book. So if you've not read this, try and track it down. And if you haven't read Involution Ocean, Bruce's first book, you must, because it's fantastic. So, and I am actually sort of increasing my sort of collection of Bruce's work at the moment, because I feel I've neglected him in sort of middle period, and recently he's done some great work published by Tachyon. So yeah, so I'll have to see what I can do with that. Now the jacket itself is quite sort of clean and shiny, despite some wear, so I'm just going to give that a wipe over with some polish there. Yeah, shame about that, but you know, it's there. It's a collection filler. It is what it is, and you know, maybe one day I'll upgrade. But for, as I say, it was 12 quid and it was best offer, so you know, we did some horse trading and we've got it there. So I'm just going to do a shout out here for somebody who I said I'd mention, I haven't, and that's a dealer on eBay called Justin H. Moss, or Justin L. Moss. I'm sorry, Justin, I've forgotten where this L or H. I've bought quite a bit from him. He lives in Bristol, not too far from me. Maybe I'll film his stash one day. He's a nice guy, you know. I've got lots of stuff from him, and his grading's really good, because what he does, which hardly anybody does on eBay and even on Abe sometimes, is he shows pictures of spines and he describes spines. And if you're like a spine freak like me, you know, that's really, really important. So there we go. So I've seen better, but I've seen worse, but it's an uncommon book. So what I'll probably do next is get the jacket off and put it somewhere safe in a bag, and then I'll get some really heavy rubber bands and I'll loop them around and see if I can pull some of the lean out of it. Doesn't usually work if it's been like for a long time, but it's always worth a try.